Hey everybody, this is Candace Yvette with Black Women Aware. First, I'd like to say thank you to everybody who comes by and supports my page. It really does mean a lot to me. If you all can please press the like or dislike button and subscribe, comment, or even email me if you have any suggestions, questions, or concerns. My email is always going to be in the description box. Again, thank you for visiting my channel. Hey guys, it's Candace Yvette with Black Women Aware. So I had to jump in real quick and give this message. First, I'd like to say thank you. Thank you for visiting my page. Thank you for showing support and being concerned about the injustices that Black women and children face every day in the United States. I really do appreciate your support. You don't know how much that means to me, especially because I myself am a Black woman. I'd also like to put this quick disclaimer out there. Do not come to my page victim shaming or blaming. You will be immediately blocked for that. I do not tolerate it. There is no need for it. And I'm pretty sure you knew what you were saying in the comment before you posted it. So be respectful. Many of the victims, their families come back and they visit this page. I am their advocate. This is their safe space. No disrespect will be tolerated. You all have a good day. I'm going to let you go back into the commentary. Every 5.5 hours in the United States of America, a Black woman or child is murdered. Stop killing Black women. Stop killing Black children. Wait, hold up. Now, before we get started in today's topic, I wanted to share one last but important and exciting thing with y'all. So I have been communicating with the ladies over at Black Femicide US, and this year's 2022 Black Women's March is going to be held in August. It's going to be held precisely August 27th, 2022. That's a Saturday, y'all, from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. We're going to be marching around the city. Yes, you heard me correctly. I said we're, because Candace Yvette is going to be in attendance, and I am honored to be there. I feel privileged to be there. There's going to be raffles. There's going to be food. There's going to be guest speakers. So if you can, please come out and join us. If you can't join us physically, support us virtually. Share and like this video. Share it with all your friends, or if you can't share the video, go over to Black Femicide's Instagram or their Facebook page, find this flyer and share it. I'm going to read their statement before I go into today's topic. It's one that, even though they wrote, I agree with it as well. So it says, we're going to be marching for the liberation of Black women and girls. We march to bring awareness to the issues that Black women and girls face uniquely and disproportionately. We march to honor Black women and girls and to discuss our plan of action on our future in this country that directly ties to our liberation. Beautiful statement. So I hope you guys can come out and join us. Again, the date is August 27th of 2022. The place is Washington, D.C. We're going to be meeting at the Washington Monument, okay? Washington Monument. So if you can be there, be there. If you need more information, just email me or send Black Femicide US a DM. All right, now it's time to go into our topic. Hey, what's up everybody? This is Candace Yvette back with another video. In this video, I am interviewing the mother of missing Keeshae Jacobs. Keeshae Jacobs went missing back in September of 2016. She is from Richmond, Virginia. Okay. When you guys listen to this interview, if you know anything, as per all the missing cases on my channel, I will have contact information for the detective who is working the case in the description box below. Okay, and I also hope you pay attention to what Ms. Jacobs is saying about the process she went through with the police and everything. And because you guys have to realize that it could be any one of us or our loved ones one day. And we have to stop turning a blind eye to missing persons and children in the Black community. We have to stop turning a blind eye. We have to stop being comfortable in dysfunction in our communities. If we have to do the hard work to change things in our communities so that they are safer for women and children and even men, then that is what we have to do. Okay, it's going to take for everybody to put their indifferences aside for the greater good. Okay, and that's what Black Women Aware is all about. I hope you guys enjoy the interview. Listen, learn something, leave your comments below. Please remember, Black Women Aware is not like other channels. This is not an entertainment channel. You cannot come over here and shame victims. If you do, I have no problem blocking you and your comments will be removed. Thank you for your understanding. This is Candace Yvette again. I am signing off, and now it is on to the interview. Okay, Ms. Jacobs, it's Candace again. So sound quality sounds good. So at this time, we're going to conduct the interview, and I'm going to remind you not to say anything that you deem is confidential, because this will be uploaded. But yeah, I think with the last interview, like, it went very well, but I believe, like, with the sound quality, maybe that was meant to happen. So that, because we got deep with it. That call changed me. It really did. You helped me more than what I felt like I helped you. Like, after I talked to you last Thursday, and I felt like I shouldn't hide this from you or shouldn't keep it from you. But after I talked to you, I went over to where I go to church, like next door. I was in my socks, Ms. Jacobs, and I was like, look, somebody needs to pray for me. Because I knew when I talked to you, I knew that what I'm doing with my YouTube is not just about YouTube. It's bigger than that, and I felt like I needed, like, God's help to help me do this, to help me continue to do it in integrity, So we're just going to start the interview off, and you tell us about Keeshae and what happened around the day she went missing.
It was any other normal day. I was at work. It started off, I was at work, and I was running late for work. I may go to school because I went to school in the evening. And I called Keeshae and was like, hey, I'm running behind. If you can, I'm going to call you when I get closer. Can you bring me my books? And she was like, sure, Mom. I got closer. I told her, called her and told her to bring me my book. She came outside. We talked for a minute. She was trying to grill me because I hadn't eaten, and she didn't think I was going to have time to eat or whatever. We just talked for a little bit, and then I left to go to school. I got home about 8-something. She was a little upset because she had an argument at the time, it was somebody she was seeing. She really didn't go into details what they was arguing about or whatever. But I just told her, like any mother, men come a dime a dozen. Don't let that stuff stress you out. It's not even worth it. And she pretty much agreed and calmed down. And then she said she was going out with some friends. And somebody came and picked her up. I didn't see who picked her up. I just was like, as normal, make sure your phone charged, make sure you're safe, just let me know you made it, where you going, what, blah, blah, blah. And she was like, I will, Mom. I'll see you tomorrow. I'll be home tomorrow. I was like, okay. About 11:30 or so, I know it was before 12, I got a text from her letting me know that she made it where she was at, and pretty much that she'll see me the next day, I was like, all right, I love you. She's like, I love you too. And I was like, I just want you to be safe. She said, I am, Ma. I'll see you tomorrow. And that was the last conversation that I had with my daughter via text.
Okay, the boyfriend at the time, was he ever, did the police ever question him?
Yeah. Matter of fact, the police questioned him. He cooperated. He came over the house and talked to me, and let me know what they was arguing about, and that he would never do anything to her. He just hoped that she's found, all that. But the police did questioning him and said that he was very cooperative.
And,
I'm
sorry, go ahead.
No, so, the next day came, I didn't hear from Keeshae. And I usually hear from her by at least my lunch break.
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't. So I called her brother, and he was like, nah, he heard from her, pretty much she was supposed to pick some breakfast or whatever. But he was like, well, don't worry, she all right. She probably hung out a little bit, It was kind of late. I was like, yeah, you're right. But it bothered me because that's not like her. Usually I done heard from her to let me know to pick her up once by the time I get off work, or, she's going to stay a little longer, or she's going to have a ride and she'll be home by the time I get home from work. Just something like that. Either way, I heard from her. I kept calling the phone, texting the phone, no response. The phone was going straight to voicemail. I got off of work. Her brother said he still hadn't heard from her, so I started calling her friends. Everybody told me, now this is the Tuesday after Keeshae went missing. Everybody told me that no, they hadn't talked to her. They're going to call around to see if, they heard anything or anybody seen her. I didn't hear anything, so I was like, let me get ready to go to bed. I decided to go ahead and go to bed because I had to work the next day. So, maybe about 1, 2 o'clock on Wednesday morning, I woke up out my sleep and I started going door to door, knocking on people's doors, that I knew I had dropped her off, or, she had me pick her up from. Nobody said they seen her or heard from her. So I called my sister Frantic, and my sister told me to call. She's like, go to the police and report her missing. And I was like, I didn't think it was been enough time, because, I was always told you got to wait at least 24 to 48 hours before you can report somebody missing.
Mm-hmm.
So I went to the police precinct. I got there. So the police officer was like, how do you know she's missing? She might not want to be bothered, because she's 21. And I had to open up my phone to let this man know. This girl calls me for everything, all day, every day.
Mm-hmm.
She texts me or called me for everything, every day, all day. And I hadn't heard from her. She didn't want to be bothered. The only thing she had to do was call me and say, Mom, I'm stay where I'm at. I'll call you or let you know when I'm getting ready to come home. And it would have been as simple as that.
Mm-hmm. So
he took the report and said somebody would be getting back in contact with me. Mm-hmm. So I went home, very distraught because I couldn't wrap my mind around the idea that I hadn't heard from my daughter and something is wrong. So that Wednesday evening, about 6:30, 7 o'clock, Keeshae friends came to my house. It was maybe 4 or 5 of them. I think it was about 5 or 6 of them, I got. And both of her best friends were with them. And they told me they had dropped her off at a house in Churchill. And I was like, why didn't y'all tell me this before now? At this point, I'm like, frantic and cussing and fussing and, I'm just going off. Mm-hmm. And so I made them take me to this house. And by the time they had went to the house and by the time they took me, I want to say it was a couple hours had left, by the time I got there and they came to me or whatever. And so we got over there. I'm still fussing and cussing. Everybody's acting like they don't know nothing about this house that they took me to. Her best friend was like, to Toni, I would have never took her if she said she wasn't meeting her best friend over there. And I'm going to say her name is Tasha. Mm-hmm. And he was like, I didn't know this place, so I would have never dropped her off. But she said she was meeting Tasha, so I thought it was cool. He said that when Keeshae got there, she called, the person didn't answer the phone, and then she texted, and then somebody came to the door. Mm-hmm. It was a man came to the door, so he thought she was good. He watched her go in the house, and then he pulled off. I get to this house on Wednesday night, and the man that answers the door says to me, I know, I seen Keeshae. I was like, okay. I was like, when did you see? He told me he saw her that Monday at 6 o'clock. I was like, you lying? Because I knew she was at home that Monday at 6.
Now, who is this man? Was he just somebody that lived at that house, or was he like a friend of hers, or?
I don't know if he was ever her friend per se. I know he was renting a room from the people who lived in the house, and the person who lived there, it was their great grandmother's house.
Oh, okay.
So I guess he was renting the room and assisting. But his time kept changing that he started on Monday, and I knew it wasn't right. Mm-hmm. But then what really got me was when he mentioned, he was like, yeah, I know Keeshae. She always came over here with her friend. What I say the girl name was? Tasha. I'm going to use Tasha.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's use Tasha. Yeah, I know her through Tasha because she always come over here with Tasha. And I turned around and looked at this girl because now one time did you open your mouth and say, this was a friend of mine. I know this person. We go over here a lot. Da-da-da. You didn't say anything. You stood there pretending like you didn't even know where we was going or know these people at all. Mm-hmm. So at this point, I'm frantic. I get up in this man's face. I called the police and I told them, I was like, my name is Toni Jacobs. My daughter's name is Keeshae Jacobs. She's been missing, and I'm at the house where she last was seen, and this person is not giving me the right information. He keeps changing the time that he saw her, and it's not correct. Mm-hmm. And then I told him pretty much, like, if I find out you had anything to do or did anything to my daughter, I was going to burn him down in the house. I didn't care. He's going to regret it because I'm going to do some stuff to him.
Right.
So the police came. He ended up calling the detective himself. And he allowed that detective to walk through the house and not the police. At the time, I didn't know nothing about this detective or who he was or anything. Mm-hmm. Found out later that he was working with him. Well, he was building a case on him about something else that he did around the time that Keeshae went missing. Mm-hmm. So he told me after he walked through, he said he didn't see any, he didn't see no evidence of Keeshae being there. And it was odd to me because you don't know what she was wearing.
Right.
You don't know anything.
And then I'm wondering how long was he in that house to come to that conclusion that
he wasn't in there long. Basically, he just walked through. Mm-hmm. He just walked through. So he told me that he will the detective that's on Keeshae's case will be getting in contact with me. I was like, all right. So at this point, I still ain't heard nothing Thursday, Friday. So Sunday, my friends, we decided to do a rally and pass out flyers in that neighborhood. So before I can get down there, the people who own the house contacted me and let me know I could come and walk through the house. Mm-hmm. My friends were up at the park, Shimaraza Park, which is probably 2 blocks from the house. Mm-hmm. So I go and walk through the house. I see a tissue with some blood on it, Then they showed me outside the back door how it was a basement right underneath the steps outside. Mm-hmm. And I was like, he could have had my daughter in this house the whole time.
So it was like one of those. It was like one of those basements that has a separate door, and those doors that you have to pull up. Oh, okay.
No, it was like you go outside and you go down some stairs, and it was like a regular door.
Oh, okay. I got you.
The house. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so it was like that. So I'm looking around, and one of my friends, she gets up there, in the dirt, and, it has, a shelf on it, and it had dirt up there. She's all up there looking, and I was like, y'all get down, get down. I said, because I need the police to come in the house. And the people told me, and called the police while I was there and let them know that they didn't need a search warrant to look in the house. Mm-hmm. That they would give them for access to this house. Mm-hmm. So in the meantime, I guess the guy had took off running because he was nowhere to be found. The people at the house gave me all his belongings, like his Social Security card, anything that he left, his medical stuff. I had it all in a bag, in a brown paper bag. Mm-hmm. So I had it, and I let the detectives know I had it. They came and got it, I want to say that Tuesday, after Keeshae went missing. By now, it's been about a week since Keeshae had been missing, and I hadn't heard her talk to anyone. I was told that they did go into the house that Monday to look around, but I was also told by the people at the house that they went into the house 3 times. Mm-hmm. The police did tell me that they found Keeshae's DNA in the house. I asked them if it was blood, was it enough blood to say that this man did something to her, like she's gone, and they literally told me no. They said they knew it was a struggle.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, okay. So at that point, I'm thinking that they will put out a bulletin saying that, this person's a person of interest. Keeshae's case is foul play.
Right.
But they waited 2 years. Keeshae was missing 2 years on her second year anniversary when they announced that Keeshae had been missing.
So they waited 2 years to like even put her on the local news?
No, well, like the local news, they did a press conference with anybody who knows any information. I did an interview with, I think, maybe a couple of the local TV people came to my house and everything. But the police waited to say it was foul play.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, and this is what I've been telling them the whole time. She wouldn't leave. She just wouldn't leave. That's not her character.
Right.
Keeshae was very family oriented, and I mad as I wanted her to leave home, I always laughed and joked with her. I told her she was never going to leave home. She'd be 30 years old living in my house.
Mhm.
And so from that point, it's a lot. It's a lot. So I don't know. I don't think the police did everything that they were supposed to do in her case.
Right, and
I don't know.
I'm wondering, like, if they found her DNA there and it was something about her DNA that said it was foul play involved, like, what evidence did they have, you know what I'm saying, to say that it was foul play?
Because her DNA, the blood, they found blood in the house. Keeshae didn't live there, so she shouldn't have been no blood in the house. And the fact that the person that was the last person to see her, and he admitted that he seen Keeshae, lied to me, and he took off running. And I think he took off running because I found out later that he was being prosecuted for, I don't know if he got convicted for the rape, but apparently he had beat, drugged, and held this woman captive.
Wow.
And, yeah. So basically he was raping her, but they said something about because they had sex before and it was consensual, they didn't get him on the rape. But he served, I want to say, almost 5 years for that. He just got out of jail maybe, maybe about a few weeks ago, maybe about 3 weeks ago, almost going on the month. Yeah.
So I guess, like, I don't understand, like, why the police, like, did they clear him?
I don't know.
Because if they cleared him,
they never named him as a suspect. So basically, the only thing they said was a person of interest told them that they had information about Keeshae case and he was incarcerated, but he wouldn't talk.
Yeah, so he definitely, I mean, in my opinion, he could definitely know something, especially if that's his MO, or he's probably the person who even has something to do with,
I believe in my heart that, like, for me having interaction, not going off of what the police said, I had interaction with this man.
Mm-hmm.
I talked to him when Keeshae went missing. He admitted to me, and then he lied about the times that he saw her. So I knew for a fact that you know something, or you had something to do. In my mind, I believe that his intention was to do to Keeshae what he did to the girl that he was locked up with.
Right.
To beat her and hold her captive, drug her, and do whatever he wanted to do with her, And because people came looking for her, her friends came looking for her that Wednesday, he had to get rid of her. I believe he gave her to one of his friends because I heard that the girl testified, and she said that he told her that this is what me and my friends do. So what other friends do you have?
Right.
Are the police looking into his friends? Keeshae is a very young-looking 21-year-old at that time.
Mm-hmm.
She didn't look like she was 21 years old. She didn't carry herself like she was 21. She didn't wear makeup and do all that stuff. Most Keeshae wore was lip gloss. And I think I had to fight her to do that besides when she went to the prom. But, she's happy. She's a girl that when we go to the cookouts and stuff, the little kids be like, that little girl ain't either. And I look at the little girl and I was like, oh, she all right. She grown. Y'all leave her alone. They think she's like their age.
Yeah, she really does look young. And I have one picture of her, and every time I look at that picture, like I said to you last week, like that picture, it stands out to me like more than any other picture of her. And like she had her hair down, like I don't know if it was naturally blown out, and she had on like a navy blue shirt. And I said, this young lady does not even look to be an adult. And I had to check myself sometimes, because sometimes I will mess around and like be like, I'll call her, like if I'm ever talking about her, I'll say that young girl, or I'll say that baby, and I'll forget that this is an adult.
Yeah, I always called her my baby. She's always going to be my baby. I don't give a care if she was like 40, 50 years.
Yeah, because she looks very young for her age. But
she was like, Mama, I'm grown. You can't be doing that. Da 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 da. I'll be like, all right, I'm gonna try.
But I wonder,
that's why people.
What's this guy's name? Like, do you know, like the person of interest? Like, I wonder what's his name, and if the police ever looked into like his friends or anything.
I don't I just know the guy that was at the house name was Otis. I think that's what he said, Otis. I don't know anything more. I don't know if that's the same guy that was locked up or whatever the case may be, but that's in my head, that's who I think it is.
And then I don't know his last name or anything like that. I'll just have you, like if you know the last name, I'll just have you text it to me or email me or something. I won't have you say it on this. But
but they don't want to, they don't want to do too much or tell me too much, because I don't know if they're scared that I'm gonna go rogue on them or whatever.
Probably so, but at this point it's been 6 years.
Yeah, it's going on 6 years. It'll be 6 years September. Her birthday coming up. Yeah.
And I'm basically wondering, like, if the police crossed all their T's and dotted all their I's with this case, because it really does seem like they drugged their feet.
They did. They really drug their feet on a lot of stuff when it comes to Keeshae. A lot of the stuff that they do have, it was because me being relentless, talking to people, going out, so that was me, and I tell them, I know enough that I don't watch enough Law and Order, Special Victims. That used to be my show. So I can't tell. I know some of this stuff is not, dramaticated, but at the end of the day, I know certain questions that I had in my mind. That first it came to my mind, why is it not coming into your mind?
Right.
This is your job. I'm her mother, and I tell people I have to fight for her, and I'm going to keep fighting for her, and nobody's going to tell me to shut up or put me on the back burner, because at the end of the day, who's going to fight for her better than me? I love her the most. I love her. I have the most to lose.
Right, and let's just be honest, like, we all know, we understand, like, the police have a tough job or whatever, but like, especially with our community, in the black community, nobody is going to fight harder for our people than we are, and they're not going to, I feel like cases like Keeshae often get, like, pushed under the rug, and they don't really do anything about them unless we as a community hold their feet to the fire.
Right. But like, I forgot what his name is. He's, I don't know if he's a lieutenant or what, but he works right under the police chief. And I did the missing persons day. He was like, Miss Jacobs be having her foot on our necks. I ain't having it. No, I'm going to call, and if you don't give me the answers that I want, this is what I'm going to do. I don't care. I will cut everybody out. I will speak to everybody, and I tell them at the end of the day, it's not going to make me look bad. It makes you look bad, because you're not doing your job. These are questions that not only I have, that when people hear the story, they have these questions. So why you don't have these questions? Why you don't have these answers for me?
Right, because who knows better than the police that, with every passing day, stuff gets harder and harder to solve.
Right.
Who knows better than them that? And for them not to, like, take every one of these cases, especially Keeshae's, because if they had DNA in that house and they could prove by her blood being in that house that she, was taken, allegedly taken under, like, very dangerous circumstances, then y'all should be on the case. And, like, I don't know how silver alerts work in Virginia, because I know every state has it different. But from what I've been told, it seems like she should have immediately had a silver alert put out on her. Or has she ever had one?
No, because that law here didn't get passed until I think, I want to say maybe a year and a half, almost 2 years after Keeshae went missing.
Wow.
Another girl had went missing here in Virginia by the military base. Mm-hmm. And the man killed her and took her, I want to say, to North Carolina or South Carolina, her parents. And I know them personally. Fought for it. They went to court and they was adamant that we get alerts for our teens and our young adults, because at the end of the day, if a family member comes to you and tell you that their loved one is missing or something is not right, who is the police to tell them that it's okay because they grown? No, this is not what they normally do. If there's anything out of the ordinary, then they need to listen and pay attention.
Right, and that response, it seems like so unprofessional to me and so careless. Yeah. Like, oh, okay, it's okay because they're grown, but even grown people have a routine in how they do things. You know, so, like, why not listen to the person who knows them best and is telling you, like, hey, this isn't this person's routine, and I feel like it's something suspicious going on rather than just saying, oh, well, they're grown and they just, nobody really just ups and disappears like that.
Exactly. And I try to tell people, I hear so many things about people and going missing. Everybody that go missing is not a runaway. Everybody that go missing aren't on drugs. Everybody that go missing isn't running from loved ones because they've been sexually abused, mentally abused, or physically abused.
Right.
None of this stuff. But when somebody says that somebody is missing, that's the first thing they do. Or like I done heard about Keeshae that she ran away with a boyfriend. I ain't no man that it mean that much to her that she would leave her mama.
Right.
And her brother. Her brother just came home from jail, so there's no man in this world. And I knew any man that meant that much to her, I would have known. Because she didn't bring everybody around me. Anybody that she liked, oh no. Because they used to say I was crazy. Mm-hmm. They didn't want to bring that nobody around me. But the people that they really cared about, they brought. But my kids was funny about people who they brought to my home, period. Mm-hmm. So it's a lot. It's a lot that I don't know. At one point, I blamed myself, but then I thought about it because I was like, what could I have done differently to prevent Keeshae from going missing? And I was like, I think, and I sit back and I replay it. I don't care. Before Keeshae went missing, I used to always be like, keep your phone charged. When you charging, keep your phone charged. Let me know when you made it somewhere safely. I don't need to know your business. I don't want to know your business. I just want to know you're safe. Or what if something happened to me and I need to put my hands on you? I want to be able to get in contact with you.
Right.
So I'm 51 years old, and I still let my mom know when I'm leaving. When I leave to go out of town, me, my brothers and sisters, all of us do the same thing. All right, I'm heading on my flight now. I don't arrive. I'm checking in the hotel, and when it's time for me to leave, they know where I'm leaving or where I'm visiting to or who I'm with. They know all that.
Right.
I've always done that.
I'm the same way. I'm like close to 40, and my mom and dad, I think it was one time that I went somewhere, and like even though at that time I think I was early 20s, and even though I was grown, like my dad and mom told me one time, like I bet not never do it again. My mom actually jacked me up and told me, like she looked me eye to eye and was like, I don't care how grown you are, always tell me where you're at. And even though I'm like closer to 40 now, I still do that.
That's the way me and my family are. We're like that. That's the way Keeshae, and that's what I used to tell people. Somebody said one time that Keeshae was pregnant and she ran away. She didn't have to run away. She was 21 years old. Then I would have told her, girl, you better get yourself together. You about to have a baby. I would have been happy. I would have fussed. I think I would have No, what I would have fussed, because when my son had my grandson, I was like, I'm too young to be a grandma boy. I ain't ready, but my grandson, Jahari, that's my baby, you know? And I used to tell him and his mom, I don't care what y'all do when it comes to him. If y'all do something that hurt my baby, it's gonna be hell to take, because I'm coming after y'all. And you know, a mother, you know, to go through that pregnancy with their daughter, that's something different, you know.
Yeah.
I miss that. I want that, you know. So I would have been fussed and be like, all right, girl, you better get you a job and do what you can, you know. I'm always be here to help you. I'm gonna do what I got to do to help you, but you got to help yourself, and that's what I always taught my kids.
Right, but I think, like, even if that was the case, and has she been expecting a child, I think it's normal for every parent to, like, fuss a little bit. You know, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. You know, like, even if your child is grown, I think that's normal. I think every parent does that. You know, but for them to, you know, go with the assumptions rather than listening to people and families who actually know these young women. That's what irritates me with some of these missing cases, because it feels like, or it seems like rather, the police will rather be lazy or careless about it, and then the public will rather make up assumptions than actually listen to what the families are actually saying about. Because everybody is an individual and everybody has their own personality, and it's just like everybody, like all these young black women and children that are going missing, like you said, they're not runaways. They're not coming from homes that they're being abused. Something actually sinister could be going on. So,
yeah,
like, and that's what gets, like, under my skin with a lot of the missing cases is I hear that a lot. Like, you know, even how I study how the media and how the public respond to, like, missing black women and children, I hear that a lot. Like, they often, like, throw them off as runaways, or maybe they were in prostitution, or maybe they were in drugs. And I'm like, man, it's crazy how all of these women get categorized under those three things. Like, they had, like, it's almost like they're blaming them for their own demise. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's crazy. It's but, you know, like I tell people, I said, to know my children and to know my relationship with my kids, you wouldn't think that. You wouldn't know that. Like, everybody that knows and knew my kids and watched them grow up, or friends of my kids, they'll be like, no, not Miss Toni, not Keeshae. No, they didn't play about their mama, and she didn't play about them. So it's been a battle, but it's one that I have to keep fighting and keep doing until my baby come home.
And what have you started to do, like, since she went missing? Because I know you have a foundation, and I wanted you to tell my audience a little bit about your foundation.
I started doing the missing persons day first here in Richmond. I heard about one in Roanoke. And at first I was like, man, my family going to Roanoke. My daughter's missing, you know, get this information out there. And then the more I started listening to the news and reading up on stuff, I was like, there's a lot of people missing here in Richmond. I said, I need to do something like that here in Richmond. So that's what I started doing here. And the main goal was to let people know that they're not alone. You know, it's more people out here going through this than we realize. And just that be a support system for somebody else, you know. And so I started the Keeshae Jacobs Foundation, and I wanted to help families with people that have missing loved ones, you know. Like, I wanted to be that person, like, to go in, or even after the police go in, to be able to talk to the family and let them know, I've been there, I know what you're going through, the police said this, but this is what they mean. This is what you need to do now, because a lot of times the police, their verbiage for saying stuff is not cool. You know, you think in one way because your head, all you can think about is your child. You know what I'm saying? So you don't always pay attention and listen to everything that they say. You hear what you want to hear, and you hear bits and pieces. Because I know, because that's what happened with me. I had to have my sister there with me so she can hear exactly what I didn't hear. Because a lot of times, Girl, my memory had got shot. I didn't remember nothing. Somebody could tell me something 2 minutes ago, and the next thing you know, I'm in a daze because I don't remember what they just told me.
Mm-hmm.
So this foundation was designed to help with this process. And I pray to God that nobody has to go through this process. But if you do go through this process, I am here to help and navigate, to help you understand what the process is, what you need to do. And I know you're tired and you don't feel like doing it, but I'm that voice. When you're tired, I can speak for you. I can help you. Because it's a lot of days that I'm tired, and I really didn't have nobody to help me. I think I had one other foundation. It was the Katrina Parker Foundation, and Mr. Parker reached out to me, and he had been, I was lost, and he basically talked to me, and I told him at the missing person day, I told him if it wasn't for you, I probably wouldn't be able to do what I'm doing now. You know, he let me know that I have to fight. You know, I still have to do any and everything in my power because I know deep down my daughter is looking and she's expecting me to do this. You know? Mm-hmm. Sorry, I'm getting emotional.
Oh no, it's okay. You know, it's okay. And like I understand, like 4 months after Keeshae went missing, your son passed away as well. So, like I told you last time we talked, I couldn't imagine going through what you are going through, you know, and from myself and the women, because I have some women who are coming on board to help me with Black Women Aware, for myself and the other two women who are going to be helping me, like, our hearts go out to you. And that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to jump on board as well to help with these cases because I'm tired of them being ignored and seen as just a throwaway. Our girls and the women in our community are not throwaways. We are worth something. We are worth something, you know.
And another problem I have is, as a Black community, we're so used to turning our backs and being like, I don't want to get involved. But you have to get involved because it's not just a Keeshae Jacobs case. It's not just anybody else's case. It can happen to you tomorrow. Don't say it can't happen because it can happen.
You're right.
And you will want somebody to help you. And the community, the Black community altogether, they sometimes we can be our worst enemy. We can be our worst enemy because things can happen. And first thing you want to do is, I don't want to get involved. I don't want to get involved. You have to be involved. We need to go back to where it was when we was little, when all the kids played in the neighborhood and whether your mom was home or not. If you did something wrong, the neighbor could say, you know what? Go sit your butt down. When your mama get home, you're going to get away.
Right. I remember.
You know what I'm saying? And nowadays, it's not like that because you say something to somebody's child, the mother could be ready to fight you because what are you talking about my child? I'm trying to help your child. Your child was doing something wrong, about to happen, but all you can think about is the fact that somebody else is trying to discipline your child.
Right.
You know, it's a lot. It's a lot. So I do a lot of speaking, and I want to do this community thing to let people know we got to come together as a community because I don't want, me personally, if I see something, if I see people or somebody's child doing something, I was out there at my event, I saw somebody's child doing something and cussing something, I was like, excuse me, where your mama at? And they was like, right here. I was like, come on over here. Excuse me, ma'am. Your child, if I catch her cussing again, I'm going to take my belt off and I'll beat her tail because it's disrespectful. There's too many adults around here. I know I cussed when I was little, but I ain't cussing around no adults because I was too scared. Now, when they turned their head, or my mama turned their head, my stepfather turned his head, bald-headed bitch. But I'm just saying, nobody heard me, you know?
Right.
So I don't want you to think, okay, it's okay for you to be cussing. Like, my kids, my son was grown and Keeshae was grown, but they didn't do all that cussing. They'd be like, Mom, can I get a pass? Because I'm mad. I need to tell you what's going on. I'm like, that's it. Yeah, I need a pass, Mom. I need a pass. And I'd be like, all right. I give it to them, and then they cuss too much, and I'd be like, all right, man, that's enough. But I cuss, so I'm a cusser. You know, some get mad at me, I'm cussing. But I'm still that person, whether I see somebody that's older than me or not, yes, ma'am, no, ma'am, no, sir, yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. And people like, you ain't got to say, ma'am, I'm probably older. Okay, but yes, ma'am. That's what. And then it'll probably be because I'm in the military too. Yes, ma'am. No, ma'am. It's all that. I want people to know that I respect them. I'm gonna give you I'm gonna respect you till you give me a reason not to.
Right.
You know. Right. And if you're my elder, I will walk away and not say anything else to you before I disrespect you.
Mm-hmm.
So. That's how I was raised, and that's how I raised my kids. They're not gonna cuss at no adult like that. I didn't raise them like that. And even with the music, the cussing in the music and stuff, and they like to listen to it. So I started listening to it and learning the words. I used to write the words down and learn the words and start cussing and doing all that stuff. And they was like, "Well, what you doing? Would you stop? Would you stop?" And I be like, "Oh, that's what you like." I be rapping it. That's like, no.
Right, because I know growing up, we couldn't even say lies. My dad was the authoritarian period in my household. And my mom was like no disrespect to my mom, but my mom was like the snitch. She was like the one who kept us in line, but she was the snitch. So, like, if we said a lie, and my mom had got to, like, our third warning or whatever, because my mom and dad, they were not married, but they co-parented very well together. And my dad was such an authoritarian parent that the house we grew up in, my father owned it. And he came and went as he pleased, and, like, he was so, I don't want to say controlling, because oftentimes that word can be seen as negative. But my mom, she didn't have to work. She only had to take care of us, and there was 8 of us, right? So, like, my dad, when he would come, because he would come over every day. Like, if he had heard we would say lie, or we had been out past the street lights or anything like that, it was no going back. We were in trouble. So we didn't play with him. We didn't, so I know what you mean. I remember back in the day going and hanging with my friends. We would all be in like a huddle, just came from a candy store, and somebody would dare you, say the B word. And then we would all be looking over our shoulders like, where's my daddy?
I ain't know who the dog around, because he tell my dad I'm going to get a whipping.
And like you said, anybody parents can be the snitch. Like, just because my mom was like in our family, like the neighborhood we grew up in, they would just look at you and be like, they'll say your last name. You a Johnson, ain't you? I know your mom, I know your daddy, and I'm telling. So you never knew. And I miss those days too. We need to go back to them days. And I used to tell my children, I can laugh and joke with you all you want, but at the end of the day, I'm not your friend, I'm your mama. Yeah. Yep. I'm gonna be that person to help you experience more things in life and teach you different things. And when I tell you something, it's gonna be for your best interest. I'm not trying to hurt you. I just want you to be able to live your best life. And so it's crazy. Like, before my son passed away, he did some things in his life that wasn't, the way I raised him. And he let me know. He was like, "Mom, you was a great mom. You did everything right. I made these choices as I got to become an adult. So I don't want you to think if you failed as a parent, because you did not fail me as a parent. I had the best childhood. You was the best mom in the whole wide world." Right. And I was like, wow, really, dude? I had to call my sister and was like, "Girl, listen to this." And she was like, "Stop listening. Who is that?" I said, "Ron." She bust out laughing. She's all, "Shucks, Toni." I was like, "Yeah, girl." That's a big part growing up. That's a big part, especially for the men, the young men. Like, when they start to take that accountability, that's when you can tell they going from childhood to manhood.
Yep. But I told you, he knew I ain't playing with him, because when my head went to the side, he was like, "Oh, you're not going to be choking me." And I was like, "That's where I'm going, straight to that neck." But, it was out of love. And I tell him, I was like, Keeshae was never the child that ran the streets when she was young. I kept her and my son into sports. He played football all the way from Pee-wees all the way up, and got kicked off of the soccer team because he wanted to play football. He wanted to tackle. So I was like, "Oh, Lord, you got to put you in football." Keeshae, she wanted to play football when I didn't let her. But she wanted to do everything her big brother did. I let her cheer. I made her cheer. So, but then she started liking cheering. And then when the cheering coach, she got sick and she couldn't do it no more, I took over the cheering coach spot because my daughter was like to cheer. So I did what I had to do to make sure my kids stayed busy and active. So, as a parent, I don't regret anything I did as them growing up. You know what I'm saying? Their childhood, they had the best childhood. They traveled because my family's all over the country. Anywhere they went, my family lived. Okay, we're going. Come on, we going. We going. Come on, let's go. And that's what I did. I tried to make sure they experience life and experience different things, so they'll, be able to make better judgment when it comes to their life.
Right.
Yeah.
And I just have two last questions for you. The first one is, like, over the course of this, like, 5, almost 6 years, has the police or the detectives working on her case, have they got any promising leads at all, or do they have anything at all? Like, if they have stuff that they don't want the public to know, you don't have to state it, but did they get anything? Did they get anywhere with her case? I
think, she had another detective. I just got a new detective, like, August of last year, I want to say. So this detective has gone through Keeshae's case, and then plus then there's another detective assigned to her case as well. But they both have been very cooperative in letting me know that maybe in the last month some new information came about. So they're looking at some other things. So at this point, I'm waiting. I'm trying to be patient, but I ain't being patient much longer. So I'm about to make some phone calls and try to help this along just a little bit. But I appreciate, the detectives that I have on the case now, Detective Keys and Detective Toni Coates, because even when they don't have anything, they call me, communicate with me. The thing is, we're just checking on you, how you doing, just want to let you know, I'm still working on the other thing we discussed, so just be a little patient with me. I got you. I'm going to be checking back with you. I was like, okay. That's all I asked for, is to communicate with me. I need you to talk to me.
Right.
Don't act like, I know it's other things in Richmond going crazy, the deaths and the young kids killing each other. It's been crazy. And I understand that, and I feel for these parents, but at the end of the day, Keeshae's still missing.
Right.
My daughter's still missing. Don't put her on the back burner and forget about Keeshae because of somebody else's child, because at the end of the day, she's still my child, too.
Right.
But, I'm okay right now with this. It's a little hard. Mother says Sunday, and I miss my kid.
Yeah.
I miss them.
And you know what? Like, it's nothing that I really could say that will make you feel like any better about the situation. But what I will say is that you're in my prayers. And the phone call that we had last week, like, I have talked to multiple parents and advocates for families of missing people or murdered women, and they have some of them, they have the advocates that speak. It's not always the parents, right? But nobody's interview with me has been impactful as yours was.
Oh,
your interview, Miss Toni Jacobs, was so impactful for me. I ran, after we got off the phone, I was in my socks. I was in my car. And I went straight to church. Okay? And I stopped. I kept circling around the church. I kept circling. And, we did your interview, the first one on a Thursday, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, that Thursday, they usually have, Bible study at the church. I haven't been to church, Miss Jacobs, in, 10 months, right?
Oh, wow.
So it's been a while. So I'm circling because I'm praying, and it hit me. The interview I had with you last week was so impactful that as I'm driving to the church, I'm like, God, I need your help with this. I need you to hold me accountable and make sure that every time I speak with somebody, I take their case seriously. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I go forward with this in compassion and integrity, because I'm going to be honest with you. I have 16 years in the medical field, and I don't know how they're training new nurses and new, medical assistants and things like that nowadays. But when I was coming into the field, the first thing that they made us turn off was our compassion. They told us to think of patients as mannequins. So when you work so long, because you know when you go into that field, you see a lot of death, a lot of sadness. Everybody has a problem. You know what I mean? So to prevent burnout or high rates of burnout, they used to tell us right off the bat, think of everybody as mannequins. You know, to the point where when you leave the hospital, you can just forget their names. It's just work to you, right?
Oh, wow.
Yeah. This is a true story. This is a true story. When I entered classes at the university in Indiana, that's exactly what I was taught to do, to think of everybody as mannequins. Because the nurses and the group that I was in school with, some of them wanted to go into peds and work with children, you know, but they had to realize that, you know, it's not all frilly and fun like they show it on the TV. You're going to see sick children, you're going to see dying children, you're going to see children with diseases they shouldn't even have, like HIV, you know what I mean? You're going to see this. And the only thing that the professor/RN who was training us could say to us, she would tell us, like, if you're going into these fields, no matter what age your patient is, think of them like mannequins. And so after I got off the phone with you, that interview hit me like so hard. I went next door, and I was so desperate, Ms. Jacobs, because I seen on the door that they switched the day for a Bible study from Thursday to Wednesday. And so I'm like, Lord, just let me get out the car and touch the doors, because, you know, I'm spiritual. I'm not just, you know, I don't just believe in God, I'm spiritual. So I'm like, Lord, just let me touch the doors and pray, and hopefully you will give me a word, give me something to keep going, you know. And as I got out the car, I seen these other people coming out the side of the church, and I just ran up to them, left the car, like, I left my car. Goodness. My car was in, like, the middle. You know how you got the driving lanes in the parking lot? Yeah. I, like, literally left the car there, and I'm running in my socks, and I come up on this woman, and I'm like, look, I usually go to this church, but I haven't been in 10 months, and I know you don't know me, and I'm not trying to scare you, but I need for somebody to pray for me right now. And she started crying, and she was like, oh, my God, I think God put me at this certain spot for this, you know. She started crying when she seen me. So went in the church, got prayed for and everything. But, yeah, like, I did not want to end the interview without letting you know that, one, I care. I definitely care. I don't want to tell you something and have you believe, and I'm just, you know, saying little niceties. You know, no, that's not how I am at all, you know. And then not only that, I hope to, like, with my channel on YouTube, I hope to do more outside of YouTube, like with going to rallies and learning the laws and learning whatever I have to bring more awareness to these cases, you know. But with that being said, I just have one final question for you, Ms. Jacobs. Okay. And that question is, if Keeshae hears this interview, what do you want to say to her?
I just want Keeshae to know that I love her. I love her so, so much. And just to hold on, baby. Just be strong and keep fighting. Because Mama's coming. I'm not going to stop until I find you. And I love you, and I love you, I love you. That's it.
Okay, and with that, I want to say I thank you for your time. Thank you for speaking with me again for a second time. Again, like I told you last week, you have my contact information. And if there's anything I can say or do, you know, to help out, just shoot me a message, hit me up and let me know.
I will.
Okay, yes, you be blessed.
You too, darling. You take care.
All right, you too. Bye-bye.
All right, bye.
Thank you.